Is it going to be a six-fest today? Well, all the direction boards are pointing towards that destination because the game today is happening in Sharjah. And we've got the big guns of Delhi on one side, and you've got the big hitters of Rajasthan on the other, who are happy to come back to the only place where they've won 2 games. I am Gaurav Kapur. You're watching My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. And, Sharjah is all about the batsmen. So we thought we should get 2 bowlers in. Yeah, to give that perspective as well. We've got Shaun and Pommie joining us. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Hello.
You do know, the both of you do know that this is the only half hour where bowlers will have their say for the next 4 hours.
Don't be so pessimistic, Gaurav.
I'm thinking that Rajasthan is just being a little optimistic right now, thinking that maybe our batters can do the magic that they've done here in the first 2 games, because that magic eluded them when they left this zone. It was like, they left their form and they left their batting smarts in the Sharjah dressing room, Polly, when they left from here for Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it hasn't been impressive since they've left, has it? Everyone's been struggling, the captain in particular. So I think, you often love to come back to certain grounds where you've had good vibes. As you mentioned, the only 2 victories they've had so far in the tournament have been on this ground. And Samson in particular will be very keen to get back because he played superbly. And Steve Smith, got all his runs that he's got so far in the tournament were at this ground. So you can see their averages, their strike rates, their hitability compared to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. I know where they'd be picking to play their next game, considering the form that they're going through at the moment.
But if, Pommie, if they would pick this ground, this is the last opposition they'd want to pick, because these guys are fresh off their record-breaking 228 at this same ground just a few nights ago.
I don't think there's any team that would be relishing taking on the Delhi Capitals. They look formidable as a team, and you look at whatever area you want, and they seem to have not just an 11 that's okay, but sufficient replacements, in the dugout, in the change room. You think also of the fact that they lost Amit Mishra, big player for them, and he'd been doing well, as he does for, throughout every IPL. He does well, picks up wickets. And the next game, Akshar Patel turns up and he's man of the match. So, yeah, they're going really well. And Rajasthan, to get out of a slump and then turn over the other side, are going to have to do pretty well.
Yeah, they will. And, they've done well with the toss. They have won the toss, and they've decided to put Delhi into bat. Polly, a little confused by that decision. I'll tell you why. Because it's not like their form. They won 1 game batting first and 1 game chasing, that famous Rahul Tewatia chase. But Delhi just batted first and just batted Kolkata out of the game a few nights ago. So that's why I'm a little surprised. If you are down on confidence a bit, which I'm guessing that Rajasthan is after those 3 losses on the road, wouldn't you want to give your batters first go and say, just, have fun?
Yeah, it might be a good plan, but you never know what goes on in these management meetings and behind the scenes. And maybe the thinking, I'm just trying to work out what could possibly be the option.
Yeah.
They don't know what a good score is anymore because it's such a easy scoring ground.
Well, I'll tell you, 228 is a good score.
Yeah, it's not far been an unbeatable score. But I think they're just saying, well, we actually don't know. Our batting's not that strong. So rather, let's bowl first, see what we can do, and then we know how we have to approach the batting. We have to either go out guns blazing, which you would presume would be the case on this surface, or else if it's not as big a score as we thought we had to get or chase, then they can all of a sudden adapt the batting accordingly. So I'm just thinking that could be it. We do have the teams that prefer to just do one form or the other. But I would have thought, as you mentioned, bat first, get the best of the conditions, go out there, express yourself, and then see what your bowlers can do. But decided against it. Let's see if it works.
And as the tournament goes on, you expect that it would be the direction that everybody would lean, for all those reasons that Shaun has just mentioned. I mean, the first one being you put a score on the board, there's pressure on your opposition straight away.
7 out of the last 10.
Yeah, even though you don't know what a good score is, Rajasthan playing at Sharjah have scored runs, a lot of runs. So that's okay, so they know they can get runs. I also think they kind of found themselves a fish out of water a little bit in playing at the other grounds. And I'm pointing, and perhaps it'd be directed at you, Sean, and what you've observed. I don't know if you have seen this as well, Gaurav, but the way Smith has got out the last couple of times looks like he's trying to hit the ball back to Australia. You know, and I think it might be that he's gone from Sharjah, where he could just tap it over the rope, to these other grounds that are so much bigger. And even an experienced player like him has felt that he needs to smash it.
So I tell you how we ended the show last night. We were talking about this with Vonnie and Harsha. And I did suggest that somebody should check his kit bag and his pockets, because it seems like he's missing his bus. He's late for his bus. Check for bus tickets, because that's not the Steve Smith. I mean, that's not. Steve Smith has so much skill. And the reason we say that is because he's got so much skill in his unusual method of playing that when he does the street chopping that everybody else, you're almost looking and going, you don't need to do that. You've got so many other weapons at your disposal.
Yeah, for sure. And for me, the game was Dubai, where he tried to, who was it, Cummins? I think he tried to hit back over his head a couple of times. He got lucky, he almost got out, and then he did get out. I was more surprised by the next game, because I thought he would have gone to the dressing room, someone would have chatted with him, and he would have thought it through and said, listen, I don't need to play that way. You know, what's the Australian way, is a way ho. You know, have a bit of a way ho out there. You didn't need to do that. And then he comes out in the next game and is exactly the same. So yeah, I was flabbergasted by that. But as Gaurav says, you know, his technique, the way he goes around the crease and he gets into different positions, he's a difficult customer to bowl to anyway. He scores in awkward areas and can flick it that way or flick it this way. So he's almost the kind of guy who you want to be the cement, where you just bat around, because he's going to score at a rate. He's a difficult guy to come on and bowl too. So yeah, I think the tactics have been a bit muddled, and I would expect a different approach, obviously assisted by a surface that shouldn't do too much.
Well, let's obviously, we keep talking about the batting at Sharjah, but Sharjah also shows you that not every bowler is going to get good rewards, but if you are really good, you are really tested in this pitch, and if you come good, you really are counted a little higher. And there are bowlers like Rabada who have managed to not worry about the reputation of Sharjah being, batsman heaven, and get their own way in. And today, let's have a look at the Rajasthan bowlers. I mean, they'll be going first. So in a way, the captain has put the onus on them, saying, all right, you got to stop this Delhi juggernaut, right? You've got to stop them. And he's got reinforcements. They've got Varun Aaron's pace. Not sure about the pace on this surface. They're just giving a lot, because he's quick. And they've got Andrew Tye, who manages to get just his happy knack of getting a lot of wickets for me. I think he has a purple cap from season 18, from 2018. He's got a purple cap there with 24 wickets. And they've got Archer. So they've decided today to go with kind of pace, right? There's Jofra Archer, Varun Aaron, Kartik Tyagi is pretty quick and nippy himself. What do you think of that approach on this surface?
Look, I think the first thing I'll say is, if you think you're going to try and win the game by bowling the side out first up on a pitch where it's been runs galore, I think it's a pretty bold move. I think you give away the advantage. I genuinely do. I think you would generally lean in the direction of getting runs on the board. However, their approach is what they've chosen. They've gone fast bowlers. They must have Archer bowl first up, and he must go at those Delhi batsmen up at the top of the order. None of this slower ball stuff to start off with, because you're going to fetch anyway. Because they tried before when they're there. They'd run up. Yes, they won their games, but they'd run up and bowl lots of slower balls, nothing quick at all, not that many in terms of Yorkers. But I think at the start, Archer's got a bowl like he's bowled here in Dubai. It's been fantastic watching him in Dubai. And the others have to start, I think, in similar fashion.
I think Jofra Archer bowling the slow balls is a bit like Steve Smith trying to hit every ball out of the park, right? You're just going, no. You've got that which nobody has. Why are you doing this, which everybody does?
Yeah, and when I've analysed it, I was sort of watching from a distance. To me, the most effective bowlers are the ones like Archer, who's got high speed, who run in and bang the ball in like almost back of a length in Sharjah, because it does look like a surface that almost takes the pace out of the delivery. So if it comes in at 145, 150, by the time it hits the pitch and then gets to the batsman, it's probably going at like 120 odd. And those are the guys that are difficult to deal with because there's such a big change. Whereas other guys who bowling fuller, you can whack it out the ground with ease. So maybe that's why Varun Arun comes in. I think the experience of power and all these different variations, I think he's a good option. I think they've thought this through with regards to making sure that their bowling units got options, got different variations, and having played there twice, they should have a real good understanding. Delhi last time they were there were brilliant, I thought, in their bowling department, and they stuck to that exact game plan. You know, you had KG and Norkia running in and whacking it back over length, and the ball sort of just stops and then sits up and makes it difficult to hit, because we've seen even with the spinners, it's got to be flat hitting the top of the bails. As soon as you throw it up just a little bit, they just stand and go, cook, whack it back over your head. So I think the approach, I would expect a better bowling approach from both units. You know, Sharjah is difficult. We'll get that 100%. But you've got to have looked at footage and worked out, okay, what's the best game plan? And they've got.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting talking to Rabada. He got those 4 wickets. It was at Dubai. And he was talking at the end of the game to Michael Slater. And Slat said, oh, yeah, it must be nice, you know, playing here instead of in Sharjah. And he said, yeah. And then pulled himself back towards himself quickly and said, yeah, but you can't just be looking forward to play here. Got to do well in Sharjah as well. And I think he just remembered that our next game's there. So he can't do you know what I mean? Like he woke himself up. So I think they'll be up for it. Not that they're not up for any other game, but they'll be up for it. And he particularly will be, because he'll want to do better than he did the last time that he was there.
Yeah, got to be careful of the lengths, because the Delhi batsmen on the other side, they like the ball coming onto the bat. Whether the young guns like Prithvi Shaw, Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant, they like the ball coming onto the bat. So don't play into Delhi's wheelhouse, right? That's what the Rajasthan bowling unit will be thinking, Polly.
Yeah, they definitely will. And you maybe see an option of using the spin up front with some of the left-handers and seeing what they can do. But, yeah, that's why I think the plan will be to try and be as straight as possible, back of a length, and almost make them try and flat bat shots. I think those are going to be the more difficult ones to get away if the surface.
Prithvi is vulnerable then. Prithvi gets a little vulnerable when he tries to do that, because he likes it. He likes to do those shots, and that's probably his sort of key vulnerability early on.
I think it's also a challenge for the batsman. You know, I would much prefer to bat in Dubai. It would be my best option. I think as a batsman, it looks like that comes on best. Abu Dhabi is not too bad, but then you have to change your game plan to go to Sharjah and say, okay, well, what's my plan now? Where are my areas? How am I going to look to express myself? So we're talking about the bowlers and the plans, and you would expect a better performance from them. But the batsmen still have to be switched on enough to adjust and say, okay, hold on, wicket's holding. Maybe that shot's not in. Maybe I've got to go for something else.
Well, Delhi's of course gone in unchanged, but you've got to change your team. Why? Because, well, if you picked a My 11 Circle team yesterday, there was 2 different teams playing. We've got 2 other teams today. So pick your 11 now. Today, my11circle.com. Download the app and then, of course, choose Delhi, Rajasthan. Choose your handy 11 and see if you can beat Dada or not. It's going to be tricky, because if we have a look at the points table, of course, Delhi sitting very pretty, sitting very comfortable. Things not looking good for Punjab, more so after last night. But Rajasthan, Pommie, if today they don't win, then they are in trouble as well of just forming that pack at the back of the room, right?
Oh, yeah. There's look, what are we, 5-6 games in? And the thing about IPL is the brutality of results. Now, give the example of Punjab, okay? And I think, Gaurav, we were together. And Shaun, I think we were together here, where I was saying there are 2 games you've given away. You know, there are 2 games they should have won early. They should have been 3 from 3. And I said, you don't want somewhere down the line to be thinking about those 4 points. They're thinking about those 4 points now, because in the other games they were obliterated. But in the 2, now when games come thick and fast and you're going 2 points gone, 2 points gone. It's a problem. So you have to arrest the slide as quick as possible. You can't. I don't think you can afford 3 in a row. When you get 3 in a row, I think the camp goes into chaos. I think it becomes a real problem for captain if captain doesn't have form, for coach because coach now is going to captain who doesn't have form and is trying to figure out what do you want and why should I listen to you? What you've wanted all along hasn't worked. And I'm the guy with the head on the block. So, maybe we need to change it. I think this and this and this. And it becomes a jumbled camp. So, yeah, it's a tough place to be when you're going to game 3 to try and win so that you're not 3-0.
Yeah, but that's what Rajasthan has to battle now because Rajasthan has lost 3 away and they won the first 2 and then they've lost 3. So, Polly, I'm happy that it's just these changes seem well thought out. They don't seem chaotic. Like we've seen Punjab's changes almost seem sort of chaotic in a way. I'm sure they're thought out as well. But here, the logic seems, as you both have broken down, this logic seems just a lot more sort of pointed. But they're also coming off the back of 3. And if they make that 4, then Pommie's right. Then you can go into shambles.
Yeah, you can't afford to lose too many back-to-back. Not only does it affect your points table, it affects the morale of the team. You start making changes, you chop in changes between personnel. No one gets into rhythm. Everyone starts to look over their shoulder. So I think, everyone, when they go into the RPL, they have an idea of, okay, well, I think if we do this strategy, we should be successful. But there's 4 or 5 people in the management group coming up with maybe something slightly different. And if you don't get a pinpoint to start off with, it can have the repercussions down the line. Last game for them at Sharjah. If they win this one, it'll be 3 from 3 at Sharjah. They'll be saying, listen, any chance we can swap? I'll win. Or else they're bowling their team again. Thank goodness we got away after that big game. But did you notice at the top of the table, the 2 best fast bowling attacks?
Yep.
Bombay and Delhi Capitals.
Yeah.
What are the dominating terms at times?
Yeah,
good thing.
I know the 2 of you, I know you want that to be completely true, but Delhi's got very good spinners as well with Ashwin and Akshar. Akshar Patel, most economical right now. I think he's right up on the charts for spinners at least. And Ashwin's a magician as well. So I think that it's fun. But okay, it's the fast bowlers. That's it. It's just give it to them. They've come home. How can I?
You've done the blow the prick the bubble balloon
and then still go and then put it back up again.
Where are you going with this? First of all, Ashwin missed 2 games with injury. Mishra's missed games with injury. So you can't give them all the credit. It's the fast bowlers that played every single game and performed.
You know why it's KG and Nokia? Why they're doing well? It's because they're away from South Africa.
Yeah, they chilled out.
Yeah. There's no clouds. There's no dark clouds.
You put that. You make light of that, Gaurav. But I tell you what, I reckon that's a big thing.
Yeah.
I reckon it's humongous. There's no distraction, none whatsoever. Essentially, your kind of place of refuge for both Rabada and Nokia are in the what I'll call the celebration of their success from their teammates, right?
Yep.
So this is them succeeding, and their place of refuge, I feel, is in all those accolades that are in the change room, which they're showing us, aren't they? Ponting giving his talks. I know Polly said before, how much do you want that to go out there? But it must feel really cool that here they are carrying a franchise. Now, they're doing well in all the other departments, but in their department, they're doing brilliantly. They're bowled fast. They've been aggressive. They've been in attack. They've been defensive enough that people can't score off them. Even when they have, they've still been effective in that they can come back and still shift the game towards their side. So, yeah, they're real trump cards and working beautifully together. I think They're loving it.
Which takes me to our My 11 Circle trump card. Thanks for setting up that segue, Pommie. Thank you. Let's go to, you've seen these two, KG and Nokia. I've got 19 wickets in those 5 games. So, yes, absolutely right. But our trump card today is a batting trump card. Yes, you'd think that. Rishabh Pant is who we want his last 4 games against Rajasthan. The first one that you're saying 20, well, that was on my birthday back in 18. Oh, look at that. And then you've got 16 out of 29, a 78 of 36, a 53 of 38. He does it in winning causes, Polly, and he does that at super, super good strike rates.
Yeah, his strike rate's been a little bit down in this tournament, hasn't it, so far? I think he's going to start playing with a bit more freedom as this tournament goes on, much like we saw from David Warner. Much better approach from him. He looked like he was backing himself, and he played superbly yesterday. So I think we're going to get the more strike ability from Punt, and that's why I think he could be a good trump card today. I think this could be the day where he expresses himself, small boundary. If he does get going, he'll come up trumps.
Yeah, those little cute shots, over square leg, those little falling away sweeps that he likes to hit. Just don't.
doesn't need them in Sharjah. He doesn't need them. We just need to see how well he hits straight back over the guy.
Did that on the beamer. He did that on the beamer the other day, didn't he? It's the beamer that he just swatted for 6 like a fly.
Yeah, he did. It was impressive, actually. It was impressive that he got himself out the way. But hey, guys, don't. A team's working well and it's all going great, and everyone's saying, "Oh, look at Prithvi, how good he is, and look at Kagiso, and look at Anrek, and look at Aksha." Hey, everyone wants to be in the middle of the huddle. Everybody wants to be the one who has got the team to victory. So he'll be feeling it inside. He'll want to be the guy. They all want to be the guy. So expect even more, I reckon, from Delhi. And I'm right with you guys. Trump, not Donald. Rishabh Pant.
Not at all. No. Cheetos, not good for health. Cheetos,
That's good.
I'll tell you what's good for health though is Boost and our Boost stamina meter, because if you're healthy, you can expend more energy, you have more stamina. Who have we got today? Well, we've got a leaderboard right here, and who have we got on top of the leaderboard? Let's have a look. See, we've got David Warner. David Warner's been doing a bit, but Shreyas Iyer, look at him, he's there, number 2, because obviously captain, he's been running around, and that knock last time, the knock against Kolkata and Sharjah, oh, he was brilliant, standing his ground and hitting those huge sixes, getting the elevation and the distance. And he runs as well, and he's fielding as well, and he's obviously extremely, extremely motivated because this is his 2nd full season now as captain. I have seen him with Ricky Ponting. They've got a great relationship. He's almost like a devotee of Ricky Ponting, right? He was always following him around like a little child, and that's a very happy symbiotic relationship they have there. But let's just talk about his batting and how electric he's been on the field.
Yeah, I think he's very engaged. And, when you're a T20 captain, you don't have any time to switch off. You're fully focused when you're doing your job and in the field. And I think he's surrounded by Ricky, who's probably giving him some really good ideas, settling them down. I also think the 4 pros, international guys that he's got into his team, they aren't the sort of threatening individuals, if I can put it that way. They're guys who get behind you as a leader. They want to do their best. They're keen to be playing. They're happy. They're jovial kind of people, and I think that's important. So even the support structure of some of the Indian guys, Jinky Rane, Ravi Ashwin, those guys will be helping him out, and you can almost feel that he's got that sense of confidence. I mean, he performed brilliantly when he took over last year. I think he won quite a high percentage of the games he did in that RPL, and he's carried that form in here. So all signs for him are looking good.
Yeah, so Shreyas Iyer, what can we expect from him today? We, of course, are going into this game thinking, Delhi is the form team and Rajasthan has lost 3 in a row. But hey, hang on just a second. Hang on.
Correct. I'm with you. Yeah, you just never know. You just never know. That is the beauty of all of this. On the day they could get obliterated. I mean, the other side still has wonderful players in Butler. Smith can find form again. Sanju Samson, what a player. And you know what? I reckon I'd swap them around. We'll talk about this later, of course, but I think I'd swap them around. I said before that I don't think it matters. I think it does now. Smith's head looks a bit frazzled. I'd put Sanju back up at the top, particularly at Sharjah.
You're only saying it from the first game. Nobody. This is the problem. When you got a pretty face, nobody hears your ideas.
I wouldn't know. I don't have a pretty face.
You got some great ideas, brother. You got some great ideas. Well, joy is the thing with the joy factor question is it can take any pretty face and wipe the smile right off it, right? So we'll show you that question now and see if your smile goes away. Well, that's yet another essay. He's been doing essays these days, huh? How do we still remember and celebrate the first Indian to score a double century in a first-class match in India against the Europeans at Pune in the early 20th century? The early 20th. I love it. I love it when Joy gives us questions from his youth. At the early 1900s, I say, young lad. There's nothing in my pipe. Smoking is injurious to health. But do send us your answer. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live on Twitter. We want to hear from you in case you know. And
we have got a clue. Me and Pommie have got no clue.
I've got no clue as well.
Oh, isn't it one of the competitions are called whoever it was his name?
No, so the Ranji Trophy wasn't early 1900s. There were the quadrangulars played at that time where cricket was played on religious lines. You had the Hindus and the Muslims and the Parsis and the Europeans, and you had those teams that used to play in Pune and Mumbai. So that was before Ranji. It was before Tulip Singh Ji. It was, before Ranji Trophy. But Ranjit Singh Ji was, of course, playing at that time. But,
we've eliminated something for them.
Yeah, it's cricket history, right? Cricket history. Back. All right, but we'll come back now to contemporary. We'll come back to current. We'll come back to Delhi, which is batting first. It's been put in by Steve Smith, and the three of us are going to try and guess what score they will get to. We're doing it for the My 11 Circle badge of honor, if we can get our guess incorrect. So who would like to go first, gentlemen?
Aisha, 206.
206.
I'll go 211.
I'll go 218. We got it.
Okay.
We got it in the bag. Unless Jofra Archer decides no more cute stuff, I've got 155 missile.
Well, let's see. Power play 62.
Let's just be safe. Yeah, power play 62. Polly? That's a good guess.
57.
65. We get something right. We get something right. We'll make sure that somebody gets the badge of honor. Well, we're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. We'll have a little update at the halfway mark of Delhi's batting. And that's all we have time for on the show right now. Big thank you to Shaun Pollock and Pommie Mbangwa. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.